Summary: Harper, a sharp, witty real estate attorney, is blindsided when her husband Brad serves divorce papers for a younger yoga instructor. But Harper has been quietly investigating and discovers the girlfriend is a con artist, manipulating multiple wealthy men. Harper coordinates with the other wives, exposes the scheme, and reclaims her dignity, home, and life. The kitchen smelled faintly of espresso and betrayal. Harper Caldwell stood at the granite island, her blazer still stiff from the morning court session, and stared at the envelope Brad had slid across the counter with the precision of a Vegas dealer. Divorce papers. 8 years, erased with a flick. Harper, Brad said, too casual for a life-altering confession, I need you to sign these. Madison's moving in this weekend. He smiled, as if the words were a joke and not the jagged edge of a knife. Madison. A name dripping with yoga mats, essential oils, and Instagram-filtered enlightenment. Harper felt the familiar spark of fury and disbelief collide in her chest. 8 years of marriage, and he thought she'd crumble like cookie crumbs under a latte cup? She opened the envelope with the calm of a seasoned lawyer. Her hands didn't shake, but her mind was racing, weaving the threads of the months she had already suspected. The 5 days of mysteriously timed business trips, the vague excuses, the sudden fascination with chakras, Harper knew her husband's pattern. Brad looked up, waiting for a reaction. Harper let a faint smile slip. 48 hours to move out, she murmured. Generous of you to give me a weekend to digest betrayal. Brad blinked. I don't understand, oh honey, Harper said softly, setting down the envelope. I understand everything. She had already been gathering intelligence. Screenshots. Bank statements. Social media histories. Names. Dates. Patterns. Harper's grandmother, Rose Caldwell, had spent 30 years as a private investigator. If knowledge was power, Harper was already armed with an arsenal. Brad's smug confidence faded, just slightly, like a candle under a sudden draft. Harper's lips curved in a sharkish smile. You're very proud of Madison, aren't you? He hesitated. She understands me. Harper raised an eyebrow. The real you. She tasted the words like bitter espresso. You mean the man who left dirty socks on the floor, who called gas station sushi a delicacy, who thought meditation meant thinking about golf while stuck in traffic? Brad shifted uncomfortably, sweat pooling at his collar. Harper didn't rush. Her calm, surgical precision was more terrifying than any outburst. She slid the papers back across the counter. I know exactly what's been happening. And I know what you think you're hiding. He swallowed, too slow. Harper's phone buzzed quietly. Evidence compiled, communications ready. This wasn't about revenge yet. This was prelude. The hunt had already begun. She picked up her coffee mug, and the last sliver of her former heartbreak was gone. This kitchen, once a place of mundane breakfasts and late-night arguments, had transformed into Harper's command center. And Brad, clueless, arrogant Brad, was standing in the epicenter of his own downfall. Harper's fingers danced over her laptop keys, the glow illuminating her calm, determined face. She had mapped Madison's life like a battlefield, tracing every class, every post, every financial transaction. It wasn't just Brad, for men, for wives, one greedy yoga instructor. And each one had unknowingly funded her lifestyle. The evidence was staggering. Screen captures of synchronized messages, bank deposits, Instagram testimonials, enough to build a dossier that would terrify the most composed federal investigator. Harper chuckled quietly. It was almost art, the way Madison had choreographed this scam. Almost. Harper reached for her phone. Patricia Peterson, David's wife. Victoria Harrison, Michael's. Jennifer Mitchell, James. Each of them brilliant, capable, and utterly unaware of the same puppet pulling strings in their lives. Within minutes, she had them on a group call. Introductions were brief, details were damning. Harper's voice was precise, calm. Ladies, you've all been targeted by the same woman. She's a fraud, identity theft, financial manipulation. I propose a coordinated response. The response was immediate. Patricia would handle the legal front. Victoria, the social media and testimonial cleanup. Jennifer, financial tracking. Harper, the orchestration. Like a general deploying troops, she distributed the assignments, every detail accounted for, every action timed. Meanwhile, upstairs, Brad paced obliviously, muttering about chakras and love. Harper allowed herself a smile. He was already underestimating her. That overconfidence would be his undoing. Outside, Madison's BMW glinted in the fading afternoon sun. Harper glanced at her screen. Madison's location was now in motion. The perfect opportunity. Harper brewed herself another coffee, savoring the calm before the storm. She wasn't just waiting for confrontation, she was preparing for theater. Every detail, every move, meticulously choreographed. And somewhere, deep inside, Harper allowed herself a small thrill, the inevitability of justice and the poetic satisfaction of watching deception unravel. The doorbell rang. Harper's pulse remained steady, but adrenaline flared beneath the surface. Madison stepped in, radiant, oblivious, holding her quinoa Buddha bowls like a trophy. Brad reached for her instinctively. Harper's smile didn't falter. She pulled out her phone, set it on the counter, and hit play, a live feed of the coordinated evidence, delivered simultaneously to the other wives. Madison froze. Her perfectly curated facade flickered. Text messages, bank statements, Instagram logs, all materialized in front of her like ghosts. Her confidence, so carefully cultivated, crumbled. Harper's voice cut through the silence. Madison Rivers. Or should I say Melissa Rodriguez? Brad sputtered. His authority evaporated instantly. Madison tried to recover, whispering about love, about spiritual alignment. Harper didn't flinch. She had anticipated every lie. The phones buzzed: Patricia, Victoria, Jennifer. Each woman's voice, clear, professional, damning. Madison's operation had been exposed in real time. She realized too late that she had underestimated the intelligence and resolve of the women she had tried to manipulate. Madison's eyes darted between the wives, then back to Brad, panic replacing smugness. Harper watched quietly, savoring the unraveling. Brad, finally aware, reached for an explanation. Harper shook her head, calm as a courtroom judge delivering a verdict. Your fantasy ends here. The truth isn't negotiable. Madison bolted toward the door, but Harper's phone chimed again, a final set of evidence updates confirming all financial and legal breaches. The jig was up. The tension in the kitchen was palpable. Brad's humiliation mirrored the fury radiating from Harper. Madison clutched her bag, her carefully constructed persona shattered. Harper stepped closer, her calm demeanor making every word a scalpel. You built your house of lies on the foundation of others' ignorance. But lies have a habit of collapsing. Brad tried to protest, but Harper's eyes bored through him. Madison, realizing escape was futile, stumbled backward. Harper dialed Patricia, Victoria, Jennifer. Each wife's voice filled the room via speaker, delivering damning evidence like arrows piercing the fantasy. Brad's realization hit like a truck. He had traded an 8-year marriage for illusion. Madison, meanwhile, crumpled, muttering apologies too late to matter. Harper's phone buzzed. Federal investigators were now on standby. Every financial irregularity documented. Madison's social media presence frozen. The women's coordination complete. The atmosphere was cinematic, every detail framed like a high-stakes courtroom scene. Silence punctuated by the buzzing phones, ticking clock, and hum of the refrigerator. This was the moment Harper had orchestrated, the precise intersection of intellect, patience, and justice. Harper's final words rang clear: your time is over. Every lie, every manipulation, every fraud, it's documented. Brad's face drained of color. Madison's aura of mystical confidence evaporated. The phones delivered one last message: investigators were on their way. Her house, her property, her control, undeniable. Brad stammered, grasping for excuses, but Harper's calm, calculated presence made words irrelevant. Madison's escape attempt failed. She faced the consequences of her con. The moment lingered. 8 years of betrayal, carefully countered. The villain's fall was complete. Harper didn't need violence, only truth. And truth, meticulously presented, was the sharpest weapon. Morning sunlight spilled across the kitchen. Harper sipped coffee, her empire intact, her dignity restored. The house was hers, legally, morally, and emotionally. Patricia, Victoria, and Jennifer remained allies, friends forged in strategic fury. Madison faced charges across 3 states. Brad, humbled, rebuilding. Harper reflected. Knowledge is power, patience is strategy, and timing is justice. Grandma Rose's lessons had been precise: evidence, foresight, and composure. The kitchen, once a battlefield, now felt serene. Coffee in hand, Harper smiled. Life had taught her worth, resilience, and the beauty of controlled chaos. The future was hers to design, one calculated, confident, and cinematic moment at a time.